incredibly proud.
And in your life, have you ever seen anything like it?
You go down to 14 so early on in the game and you're like, but there was never a moment that anyone took a backward step, you know.
It wasn't even a head in the hands moment. It was just a little bit like...
I remember speaking to my family when I got back home and them saying, when the final whistle went, the camera panned to me and I was already crying, and I can't even watch that moment back because it just brings that emotion back for me. And I think I knew how much it meant to the team. I knew how much it meant to those older girls who have lost the World Cup. And I think in that moment, I felt all that anger and that sadness and that disappointment of the other girls, as well as the disappointment of myself in that moment too.
You will play all your life as a player and probably watch as many games you want. You will never see an incident like that where the hoot has gone and there's a line out, which is your super strength, and you've got one shot to win the World Cup or not win the World Cup. That is the highest pressure moment that could ever exist in a sporting lifetime. And you look at it, and before it happened, I just looked at Deke, so this is it, we've got one shot to win the World Cup. And we were all just stood up by that point in the box. And then, yeah, we don't win the line out for whatever reason. And it's just like, and I don't know, even now it's difficult to describe, because it wasn't a sense of catastrophe, even though it was a catastrophe for us, because we went there to win it and we didn't win it. But the moment was so unique. You just felt, I just know what the players are going to be feeling. Nobody should feel responsible for that as an individual. That's what we are. We're a group. We said we'd stand or fall as one, and that's, you know, we fell as one. Yeah, that's what your squad's about.
It would have been the perfect fairy tale for English rugby. 30 games unbeaten. We lost in 2017. And then we come out to New Zealand where you've got, 40-odd thousand people against you. That would be our fairy tale, whereas New Zealand had their own. They came to England and France last autumn, beaten 4 times. They've got a new head coach in 8 months. They've had their fairy tale, so like it's just a way of sport, and it's why we love it so much, with the drama and the highs and lows of it.
They said nobody cared about women's rugby. Well, guess what? We out here. We out here, fam. We're going nowhere.
My whole philosophy is about winning, but you can't help but feel if anything good could have come out of it, not winning it, it came out of it, because the game was so unbelievable. I've got mates saying like, yeah, there was 20 of us on a WhatsApp group, 6:30 on a Saturday morning, 20 blokes this is, going, get ready, this is going to be a right game. And then afterwards going, I can't believe what I've just watched. That's the greatest game of rugby I've ever seen in my life. Why can't the blokes play it like that? You know, and these were the guys from places like Nottingham where I grew up. You know, these guys are my age who 30 years ago, 40 years ago, never even heard of women. The thought of women playing rugby was like, really? You know, and now that the respect is just complete. When you put something out like that people, you know, who also understand the game deeply, are talking about it as being one of the best games that's ever been played, you can't help but feel incredibly proud that you were involved in it. Ultimately, we're in the entertainment business. And if we want to grow the sport and we want to keep things moving forward and we want to have a league that is full-time professional and we want to have more international sides that are full-time professional, you've got to entertain and you've got to put bums on seats and you've got to put money in the till. And you'll only do that by putting a product on the field that people want to watch, and that was a good product, I think.
I personally loved being in that environment. I think everyone loves being in that environment, because who doesn't want to play in front of 40,000 people with all that noise and all that excitement? I think everyone feeds off it.
The noise was incredible. I've never experienced anything like it in my entire career, and I just thought, wow, this is a really, really special moment to be involved in a game like that, the significance of it. Looking back, I feel very honoured and privileged to have been part of what has to be a watershed moment for the women's game. We've been waiting for a moment like this for people that didn't know women's rugby to go, wow, like, this is an amazing sport, these are incredible athletes, role models, like, this is really exciting for where the game can go globally. We can't be in 3 years' time going, oh, this is the moment. No, we've had this moment now. It's almost a line drawn in the sand about just how far women's rugby can kick on and how big it can grow now. Nations can invest in their women's teams more than they have done, and I think that would be the greatest legacy from this tournament if other nations follow what England have done and go, we're going to support our women and see where they can get to. It'll make it a very competitive world of women's rugby, and England might not have it their own way moving forward, but then that means that we have to then get better, and we have to go, right, we need to invest more, we need to do more, and it just brings this snowball effect of where the women's game can go.
I mean, I'm sat here, after coming back from a World Cup with some silverware, playing a sport that I love with my best friends and doing it at the top of the level at 20 years old as well. And I think sitting here and saying that, I'm like, oh, Sadia, like, chill out. But it's something to be very, very proud of. And if I had listened to those people on the way who said, actually, maybe don't go to the gym, maybe come to this party on the weekend, actually, maybe keep doing athletics, because I don't think you're going to be a rugby player. I don't think it's a sport for you. Your people are not there, and your people are here, so stay here. If I'd listened to them, I wouldn't be sat here. So, definitely just to say, look at me now.
First, to the breaking news. England will host the 2025 Women's Rugby World Cup.
The grandest stage of international rugby.
When you come to a World Cup, it has to be better than the last World Cup. It has to be better on all different fronts. It has to be bigger crowds, it has to be more entertainment, more competitive games, etc. You look at the semi-finals, the final of the World Cup, and the crowds that came with it, right, that's the benchmark now. We can't go back from that. If you want to move the game forward, you have to leave the crowd wanting more, wanting to watch a game, wanting to come back. And if they watched it on telly, you want them to come and watch it in the stadium next time and go, that atmosphere looked like something incredible. I need to be in that stadium next time they play. We're fortunate if we got the 2025 World Cup. I will guarantee you that will be a World Cup like you've never seen, because England as a nation know how to deliver a tournament.
I genuinely hope for the girls that are around in 2025 that playing here at Twickenham in front of 82,000, that they get the fairy tale, they get that redemption, they get to put all the hurt of what New Zealand was to bed and get the absolute joy of winning a World Cup. That it's the proudest day and one of the best memories I have of becoming a world champion, and I genuinely hope that the girls in this squad that are around get to feel that, and they deserve it after everything they've been through over the last few months. So that's their motivation for 3 years' time. There's nothing better than a home World Cup, and there's no way they'll not sell out Twickenham, and that would be like an absolute historic moment to be involved in.
The speed of which you grow the game is relative to the excitement you create. And we created quite a bit of excitement, I think, in that World Cup, in particular that final. So hopefully, it will strengthen and quicken the growth of the game, because I don't think it's about growth; it's about speed of growth. The crowds at a female game are very different to the crowds at a male game. The energy in the stadium is completely different. You've got a lot of young people in there, you've got a lot of females in there. To say the energy, the expressiveness of the crowd, how they engage into it, the whole joy of the event is so much more a feature. So a male crowd stands and watches the game, or sits and watches the game and then celebrates the high moments, where the women's game, they just celebrate the occasion of the game, and they love seeing, the female athletes playing. It's them moments, creating the moments in your life, isn't it, where you just lose yourself. It takes you to a different place than your normal life that you live day in, day out. I would pay for an experience rather than a material thing anytime, any day of the week. And Eden Park was a special place to be in the World Cup final, and that's what you want people to do. You want them to go, I want to be part of that.
With rugby, there's always something around the corner to get you back up and motivated and get you refocused, and for us that's Six Nations. We've got 3 amazing home games. We get to play at Kingston Park in Newcastle, which is my home ground, so that'll be really cool. It's where I first started playing rugby union. I used to sell programmes on match day there. We have the grand finale at Twickenham, which is the first standalone ticketed game, and we'll have our opportunity to get as many Red Roses fans through the door. And we're now in England. If we get all those fans that have followed us to either Newcastle, Northampton, or more importantly at Twickenham, I just think we could have an incredible record for home. And the dream would be if we could break the world record that was set in New Zealand for 42,000. That would be a really special moment, and it would be a real significant moment, I think, in the journey of women's rugby, and saying, actually, we're ready to play in stadiums this side. This is the fan base we've created. This is where the Red Roses are, and I think, it's a really exciting step in the process of getting to 2025 and hopefully selling out Twickenham Stadium then.
I really want to play again for the Six Nations, and I think off the back of the World Cup, people are very, very excited to watch women's rugby again. And I think that's only half of what we're feeling as players, to get out there and play again. So I'm very, very, very excited for the Women's Six Nations.